Well, back in the 1950s, while the Corvette may have been winning on racetracks, it was the Ford Thunderbird that was winning where it mattered, on the showroom floor.
Ford's strategy with the Thunderbird paid off tremendously. By positioning it as a personal car of distinction, they widened its appeal beyond pure sports car enthusiasts to include buyers looking for luxury and refinement with a sporty edge. The 1955 Thunderbird, the debut model, featured a sleek design and a powerful V8 engine, distinguishing itself from Chevrolet's Corvette, which initially struggled with its six-cylinder offering. The Thunderbird's emphasis on comfort, practicality, and performance was an instant hit. Unlike the Corvette, the Thunderbird came standard with roll-up windows, a well-appointed interior, and plenty of options for customization, from power steering and brakes to air conditioning, features that made it an attractive choice for a broader market. By the 1957 model year, the Thunderbird had undergone significant improvements in both performance and style. This year marked the last of the first-generation Thunderbirds, and Ford decided to go out with a bang, introducing a truly groundbreaking version of the car, the F-Code Thunderbird, which would solidify its place in automotive history. The 1957 F-Code Thunderbird, a supercharged legend. The F-Code Thunderbird was no ordinary luxury cruiser. It was a factory-built performance beast designed to challenge even the fastest cars of its era. What made this car so special? The answer lay under its hood, a supercharged 312 cubic inch V8, courtesy of a Paxton/McCulloch centrifugal supercharger. This engine produced a formidable 300 horsepower, making the F-Code Thunderbird one of the most powerful cars of its time. Paired with either a Ford-O-Matic automatic transmission or a 3-speed manual, this Thunderbird was capable of serious performance while maintaining its luxurious demeanor. For perspective, Chevrolet's 1957 Corvette, equipped with its top fuel-injected engine, produced similar horsepower, but the Corvette lacked the Thunderbird's refinement and comfort. Ford's engineers didn't stop at just boosting the engine. The F-Code Thunderbirds featured heavy-duty suspension and brakes, ensuring the car could handle the increased power. Optional features like wire wheels, power seats, and a removable hardtop allowed buyers to tailor their Thunderbirds to their tastes, reinforcing the car's dual-purpose nature as both a high-performance machine and a personal luxury car. Rare and coveted, the F-Code Thunderbird was a limited production model, with only approximately 200 units ever built. This rarity was largely due to its high price tag, as the supercharged option added significantly to the cost of an already premium vehicle. Today, these cars are among the most sought-after Thunderbirds by collectors, often commanding six-figure prices at auctions. One of the most fascinating aspects of the F-Code Thunderbird is how it encapsulates the bold, experimental spirit of the 1950s American automotive industry. It was a time when manufacturers weren't afraid to push boundaries, blending performance with style in ways that still resonate with car enthusiasts decades later. Legacy of the Thunderbird. The 1957 Ford Thunderbird marked the end of the line for the first-generation model, as Ford transitioned the car into a larger four-seater for 1958. While the shift expanded its market appeal, many enthusiasts regard the two-seater Thunderbirds, particularly the F-Code, as the purest and most iconic versions of the car. The rivalry between the Thunderbird and Corvette would continue for decades, but the F-Code Thunderbird stands out as a bold statement from Ford. Luxury and comfort didn't have to come at the expense of performance. It's a car that truly deserves its legendary status in American automotive history, a style icon and a performance pioneer. When it came to styling, the 1957 Ford Thunderbird truly embodied the space-age aesthetic that defined much of the 1950s automotive design. Its jet-inspired taillights and thruster-like rear exhaust made it stand out as a car of its time, both futuristic and elegant. While its front end was more restrained, the overall proportions were perfect, striking a balance between luxury and performance that the Thunderbird would become known for. Ford also packed the Thunderbird with advanced features for its time. Buyers could choose between a removable hardtop or a convertible soft top, and the car offered optional power windows, power steering, and even air conditioning. These comforts, combined with the car's bold styling, made it one of the most desirable vehicles on the market. Though battle under the hood, while its design drew plenty of attention, Ford knew the Thunderbird needed serious firepower to compete with the Corvette. Enter the Y-block Phi-8 engine, which served as the beating heart of the Thunderbird lineup. From its launch in 1955, the Thunderbird came standard with the 292 cubic inch V8, offering a respectable 200 horsepower. By 1956, Ford bumped the 292's output slightly over 200 horsepower, while introducing the larger 312 cubic inch V8, which made 225 horsepower. However, it was the 1957 model year that truly solidified the Thunderbird's place as a performance icon. For its final year of the first-generation model, Ford pulled out all the stops. The 312 Y-block V8 could now be equipped with the F-Code package, which added dual 4-barrel carburetors to produce a jaw-dropping 285 horsepower, already putting it ahead of Chevrolet's top-tier 283 horsepower fuel-injected Corvette. The rare and powerful F-Code Thunderbird, but the true star of the Thunderbird lineup was the F-Code model, an ultra-rare version equipped with a Paxton/McCulloch supercharger. This wasn't just a slightly improved engine, it was a complete rework of the 312 V8 to handle the added boost. Engineers introduced boost-friendly heads, a modified camshaft, and a lowered compression ratio of 8.5:1, allowing the engine to handle the supercharger's increased pressures. The result? A car that delivered an incredible 300 to 340 horsepower and a jaw-dropping 440 pound-feet of torque at just 2,500 RPM. With this much power, the F-Code Thunderbird could sprint through the quarter mile in around 14 seconds, a performance metric that rivaled, and in many cases, outperformed, its competition. To put that into perspective, this was muscle car-level performance years before the muscle car era even began. Homologation for NASCAR and Daytona Speed Week. The F-Code Thunderbird wasn't just about dominating the streets. Ford had its sights set on NASCAR homologation, a requirement to make the supercharged Thunderbird eligible for racing. As part of its development, the F-Code underwent rigorous testing, including high-speed runs at Daytona Speed Week in 1957. During one of these runs, a supercharged Thunderbird hit a blistering top speed of 146 miles per hour, proving it was more than just a stylish luxury cruiser. It was a serious performance machine capable of challenging the best cars of its era. Exclusivity and legacy. Despite its jaw-dropping performance, the F-Code Thunderbird was far from a volume seller. Its high price tag and the niche appeal of a factory supercharged car meant that only around 200 units were ever produced. Today, these cars are among the rarest and most coveted first-generation Thunderbirds, fetching premium prices at auctions and commanding the respect of collectors worldwide. For Ford, the F-Code Thunderbird wasn't just a car, it was a statement. It proved that performance and luxury could coexist, and it set the stage for the Thunderbird's continued evolution in the years to come. The chassis and suspension, a rocket with limits. With all that blistering performance, one might wonder what kind of chassis and suspension the Thunderbird used to handle the immense power of the F-Code setup. The truth is, the first-generation Thunderbird was not exactly cutting-edge when it came to its underpinnings. To keep costs low and ensure the car made it to market quickly, Ford repurposed an existing chassis from its larger cars, cutting it down to fit the Thunderbird's smaller proportions. The result was a fairly simple setup: solid axle rear end, ball-joint front suspension, drum brakes all around. This chassis was perfectly adequate for the 292 cubic inch V8 models, and even for most of the lower-powered 312 cubic inch variants. However, as horsepower climbed and buyers began to push their cars harder, the shortcomings of the suspension, and especially the brakes, became apparent. The drum brakes, while standard for the time, suffered from severe fade during spirited driving, particularly in the F-Code models, which packed significantly more power. Essentially, buyers of the F-Code Thunderbird were getting an absolute rocket in a straight line, but not a car optimized for tight handling or prolonged performance driving. Still, for the era, this trade-off was perfectly acceptable. After all, this was the 1950s, and most buyers weren't taking their cars to road courses. The focus was on raw speed and light-to-light acceleration, and the Thunderbird delivered in spades. Transmission and gearing options. The F-Code Thunderbirds offered buyers flexibility when it came to their transmission and gearing preferences. Customers could opt for either a 3-speed manual transmission for a more engaged driving experience, or an automatic transmission for effortless cruising. For those looking to extract maximum performance, a 3.70 rear gear setup was available, further enhancing the car's already impressive off-the-line acceleration. Whether you wanted a drag strip bruiser or a high-powered boulevard cruiser, the F-Code Thunderbird could be tailored to your needs. Performance at a price. Of course, all this newfound performance came at a hefty price. In 1957, the base Thunderbird was priced just under $3,000, already a premium figure at the time. But adding the F-Code Supercharged engine option pushed the price tag north of $3,500, a significant jump of over $500. This made the F-Code Thunderbird one of the most expensive American cars of its day, limiting its appeal to only the most dedicated enthusiasts or those with ample financial resources. This exclusivity contributed to the incredible rarity of these cars. Out of the 21,000 Thunderbirds built for the 1957 model year, only about 200 were equipped with the F-Code package. That makes these supercharged Thunderbirds one of the rarest first-generation models and a true collector's gem today. The end of an era. By the time 1958 rolled around, the Thunderbird had undergone a radical transformation. It grew in size, became a 4-seater, and shifted its focus toward being a personal luxury car, distancing itself from its sporty beginnings. While this change made the Thunderbird a massive commercial success in subsequent years, it marked the end of the road for the lightweight, high-performance first-generation models. For those in the know, the F-Code Thunderbird represents a forgotten chapter in American performance car history. Most people today think of the Thunderbird as a comfortable cruiser with a sporty edge, but few realize that, at one point, it was one of the most potent performance cars money could buy. While it may not have been as nimble as a Corvette, the Thunderbird offered a more refined, livable package that appealed to a broader range of buyers. The 1957 F-Code Thunderbird was a car that could burn rubber from stoplight to stoplight and turn heads at every corner. It combined jaw-dropping performance, stunning styling, and a dash of exclusivity that made it one of the coolest cars of its time. But now, here's a question for you. If you had the financial means in 1957 and could only choose one car, would you go for a new Chevrolet Corvette with its sharp focus on being a pure sports car, or the supercharged Ford Thunderbird, a blend of performance and luxury? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us for another episode of our Rare Cars documentary series. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, share it with fellow enthusiasts, and make sure to subscribe to Rare Cars Revival for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating cars. Don't forget to smash that notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, car enthusiasts, keep the passion alive.